India's government says every car sold in India from the year 2030 will be electric. In fact, India's economy is the world's third largest oil importer, spending about $150 billion a year. But a switch to eco-friendly electric cars could in fact save the country $60 billion in energy costs. Now, while this is a headache for the oil industry, environmentalists say they are thrilled and it's a win-win. Here's a report.
Cleaning up India's roads of petrol and diesel will reduce air pollution. More than 1 million people die in India every year because of breathing in toxic fumes, according to Greenpeace. But that could change with eco-friendly electric cars.
Converting to electric vehicles will decrease emissions. And one of the reasons, by the way, is something that a lot of folks don't talk about, which is the fact that an electric vehicle, the lifetime is 800,000 kilometers. 800,000 kilometers, as opposed to, an internal combustion engine, which is only about 200,000. So, basically the same vehicle is going to last times more, maybe 4 times more.
The World Health Organization reports that out of 20 global cities with the most air pollution, 13 are right here in India. Switching to electric vehicles across India would decrease carbon emissions by 2030.
The disruption of transportation as a service is also a disruption in individual car ownership, meaning that the companies, the transportation will be provided by fleets, not by individuals, because individuals, we spend a lot of money to buy a car, and yet we use it 4% of the time. 96% of the time, our vehicles are parked.
It's not just in India. Even China is pushing for alternative fuel vehicles to tackle its pollution levels. Experts say electric cars could arrive within the next decade, even if power supply and distribution is a bottleneck.
The cost of electric vehicles is going down so quickly that essentially, our forecast is that by 2020 or so, there's going to be parity between, even at the low end, even at the cheapest vehicles.
Experts also say a decade ago, smartphones were barely in existence, but they quickly changed the entire industry, which is what e-cars will do as well.
Electric vehicles last 3 times longer than an internal combustion engine vehicle, right? So essentially, one electric vehicle is the equivalent of 3 gasoline or diesel vehicles. So even now, when you use the lifetime, the 500,000 miles of an electric vehicle, it's already much cheaper when you use it all than an internal combustion engine. And then 90%, electric vehicles are about 90% cheaper to fuel per kilometer basis. 90%, right? They're 90% cheaper to maintain because electric car has about 20 moving parts. Internal combustion engine car has about 2,000.
Electric cars could make petrol and diesel vehicles redundant. And the car you have today could be your last car, according to industry experts.
When we studied the disruption of transportation, we found that there were 3 key technologies and business models. One is electric vehicles. The other one is ride-hailing, essentially Ola or Uber. And the third one is autonomous vehicles. And when you put together, basically when that technology convergence happens, we get that the cost per kilometer of transportation goes down by 10 times compared to the cost of buying a new vehicle.
Experts say electric cars will make transportation far cheaper and help you breathe better.
A few months ago, I was in Mumbai and I was in New Delhi. And the pollution is insane, right? In New Delhi, for instance. And so emissions are going to come down by, at least transportation emissions are going to come down dramatically. which is going to be a massive benefit for, for Indians, for the health of Indians. And that's something that, is going to happen when you go all electric.
Bureau Report, WION.
And that does it for this special bulletin. I'm Archit Seshadri. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.